UCLA paying $1.2 million to New Mexico to get blown out in front of 200 fans on a Friday night.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Roll Down Thursday edition, week 3 of the college football season, we'll recap it, and in segment 3, we will preview week 4. Joining us today, academic and athletic consultant for the CK Save Project, George Ockert, and our favorite administrator and Texas correspondent, Robert Abney's with us. So, gentlemen, we're going to start the SEC. First thing, damn kickers. Second thing, Arch needs some work. Is Bama back? And a lot of tone-setting wins. Robert, what are your thoughts on the SEC this week?
There's a lot. I mean, there is a lot. Yeah, Arch don't look good. He does not look good. I still maintain that not the 2 weeks ago, he was wincing when he was throwing. You could see it in his face. Sark blew it off, but I still maintain there might be something there. Texas A&M fans going to be even more insufferable than they already are. That's a big win for them because their next three games are all SEC games. They're all at home. They could be 5-0. Really, 5-0, 6-0. Real easy. Stay undefeated for the next 3 weeks. I feel bad for that kid from Notre Dame, and we'll talk more about Notre Dame in a minute. Holder just flat out dropped the snap. Snap was fine, just flat out dropped it. Diego Pavia representing the 505 from Vanderbilt. He played well. South Carolina lost their quarterback. That could be a problem. And Florida. So
I got a real estate agent down there that can be of service.
Yeah.
All right.
So a lot of stuff going on. Alabama beating Wisconsin. Okay. Alabama's going to finish higher in the SEC than Wisconsin will in the Big Ten. So I don't know. To me, that game means nothing.
All right, George, SEC talk. You got the floor, sir.
Let's go. Alabama, I expected them to get over that Wisconsin. I didn't expect that to be much of a game. It's funny as overall, and Robert, tell me if I'm wrong here. The SEC does not feel as imposing as they have in the past. I think after week 1, and now that you're looking at week 2, you used to have that Alabama, LSU, or whoever was steps above everybody else, and it doesn't feel it. The past 2 weeks didn't have that feel to it. I think that South Carolina losing their quarterback is huge, because they got a good team down there. That I think that loss to Vanderbilt is going to come back to bite him in the butt later on. Pavia keeps doing his magic. The Texas A&M win was huge on a number of different levels, not just for A&M, but it puts Notre Dame in a hole, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. As I'm looking at it right now, man, LSU, Texas A&M, and how the hell Georgia got out of Knoxville. Those 3 teams are at the front of the bus right now, and everybody else has got to catch them. So, and that's SEC is one of those leagues when you get in front early, if you can stay there, you're in good shape. So,
yeah. Golf tournament. That's the SEC. I can't win right now, but I can take on sure lose. All right, Big Ten. 1, go Terps. 2, bad Bruins. Oof. And for me, it was a keep it moving week for the Big Ten. You had the big brands doing what big brands supposed to do, beat them and beat them often. George, what are you thinking about the Big Ten this week?
Not much. I mean, it was lackluster. There's nothing really to see there. They played. This is the problem with the Big Ten when they stack the beginning of their schedule with a bunch of cupcakes. Penn State played nobody. For a while, Ohio State let Ohio hang around for too much longer than I think they should have. Michigan, you beat a directional school. I mean, there was no, and the only thing was UCLA. UCLA is who we thought they were. So their coach needs to be on. There's a couple coaches that might not make it to the end of the season. Billy
Or the
Napier,
end of the week.
end of the week, Billy Napier in Florida, UCLA's coach, and Virginia Tech's coach. But that's what it was this week.
All right, Robert, Big Ten. What are you thinking?
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of interesting stuff going on other than UCLA paying $1.2 million to New Mexico to get blown out in front of 200 fans on a Friday night. And, make no mistake, UCLA, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on social media, UCLA helped blow up the Pac-12. So, there's a whole lot of stuff on social media about that, karma not being a rumor and all that kind of stuff. And let's be clear, okay? This is monumentally bad for UCLA. New Mexico has not beaten a Power 4 school in 18 years.
I'm about to say 20.
I actually was there the last time they beat it. They beat Arizona because Arizona and New Mexico used to play home and home, and they beat Arizona in Albuquerque. That was the last time they beat a Power 4, Power 5 school. Okay. Something like 2007, somewhere around there. New Mexico ran for 298 yards against a Power 4 defense. And I mean, they only threw the ball 15 times. They controlled the game. I mean, they were up they were up 14-0 before UCLA knew what hit them. I mean, this is a bad loss for UCLA. And it's a huge win for New Mexico, and I'm happy for the Lobos, and that's great. And I mean, that gives them a really good chance to play in a bowl game. Of course, they'll play in the New Mexico Bowl, which is in Albuquerque. But that's cool. That's great. It's great for the bowl game. It's great for them. That's awesome. But I mean, UCLA still has to play Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana. They may not win a game. They may not win a game.
That's the Bruins. You can't say that, even though it's true.
No, but they weren't.
Look at their schedule.
Yeah, but let's be honest. We're talking about it. UCLA wasn't wasn't your team anyway that could contend in the Big Ten. They hung in. They stayed in the Pac-12, where you get a few places where few teams you can compete with, the Arizonas and stuff, who are usually a little subpar. And this year they're having one of those years. They're not recruiting well, so they're going to get both.
You cannot tell me you cannot get kids to come to Westwood and walk around that campus and go, yeah,
I wish they all could beat California.
I could play football here. You can't tell me that. I recruited. I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, well, Robert,
I have no idea what they're doing. And
Robert,
and clearly, I mean, they hired Deshaun Foster as their coach because he's a famous alum, and good on him. But clearly, the poor dude is over his head. And
obviously, they can't, because as you've seen the past few years, when was the last time UCLA posted over 10 wins?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right. Yeah.
They have not been good for quite some time.
And I'm gonna
But
tell you,
but
right now.
getting blown out at home by New Mexico,
New Mexico.
who
You
is,
let,
I
yeah,
mean, and I love my Lobos, but they are historically they're a
yeah,
bad football program. That's why they're not in the new iteration of the Pac-12,
yeah.
because their
Yeah.
football is bad. Because everything else, they're competitive. They compete with all of those other schools in every other sport except for football, and that's why they're not in the new Pac-12.
You knew you got a problem when you invite little brother into your house and he kicks your ass. So you know
Ah.
you got a problem.
All right, Big 12. We still don't know you, Big 12, but keep an eye on Utah and Texas Tech. Robert, do we really know what's going on in the Big 12 yet?
Uh, I don't think the Big 12 really knows what's going on in the Big 12. West Virginia rebounded with a nice win and managed to beat Pitt in the backyard brawl. So I think that probably means something. But other than that, I mean, it's really hard to tell. Nobody. I think we'll know some more after this next week.
Yeah, yeah. George, any thoughts on the Big 12?
Well, look, Kansas State just blew that all up because they had a lot. I think everybody had hopes riding on them. But one thing I will say about the Big 12, we sit every week and we talk, and I think the same thing will happen again. Everybody doubts Iowa State, and somehow, some way, Iowa State will be fighting for the Big 12 championship and be in the top 25 when we turn around. So,
All right, ACC Notre Dame to close segment one. First and foremost, we started this season off on the ACC preseason saying if you're a fan of traditional college football and you don't like NIL and you don't like all of this is going, I said to you, root for Clemson because they haven't jumped fully into the portal to this to that, and yeah, that's not working out very well for Clemson. So that's my Clemson rant. In terms of Notre Dame, our Notre Dame correspondent Jake Sharler, shout out to Jake and Melissa, good people. He said to me before the game against Texas A&M that he was very concerned. He said the quarterback's okay, but they're getting pushed around up front on both sides of the ball. And those coaching losses were a big deal. And I think Jake may be on to something. Miami was solid, and Virginia Tech, dead man walking. George, talk to me. Anything you want. ACC, Notre Dame. What are you thinking, sir?
um, Clemson isn't who they thought. I mean, Clemson isn't who everybody thought they were. I'll tell you what, Georgia Tech is a tough team. They are a gritty team that you really do not want to see them come into your house. That because that's going to be a dogfight. Right now, it's going to be, it's looking like ACC's looking like it's turned back the clock, and it's back to the heartbeat of the ACC football resides in Florida. And it seems like Florida and Miami have kind of set things back again to where they are actual players in this whole situation. So, I think NC State had a big come from behind win against Wake. Bill Belichick got him another win over, got him a win over a nobody school that he should have. So, it's going to have to, the ACC championship's going to go through Florida. That's the way it looks.
All right, Robert, what do you think about the ACC? By the way, shout out Georgia Tech. Y'all ran your end of game drill to a T.
Yep. First of all, okay, so we're taping on Sunday morning. When does this air? Thursday?
Thursday.
I would be shocked if Virginia Tech does not have a new head coach by the time this show airs. I just yes, their first two games were challenging, but to get blown out at home by Old Dominion, and yes, Old Dominion's a good team, but you got blown out at home, and that's probably a money game too. That ain't good. That's just not good. Shout out to Tulane.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Duke went to
Yep, that's
Tulane,
good.
and Tulane beat them. So
Yep.
that's big win there for them.
I hope the money was worth it, quarterback.
Uh-huh. Is Miami that good, or did we overrate South Florida?
We'll yell about South Florida in segment 2. But what did I
Okay.
text in the chat? 18?
Yeah,
Question mark?
well, yeah, but I mean, Miami's a problem, man. That they are a problem. That's a good squad. So that's as we move along, I mean, here's what we can say right now. I think Clemson's out.
Yeah.
Clemson is out. We're done with Clemson. There's no more talk about them for the playoff. I don't think we could say that with Notre Dame. Okay. And here's why. Their schedule, they can win the rest of their games. They can be 10-2, no problem. Right? I don't think they even play anybody who's ranked the rest of the way.
Do they play Georgia Tech?
Nope.
They're not having that game this year. Okay.
I don't think so. Nope.
And they just have to be 11 in the rankings. Then you got to be 10.
Yeah, I don't think there isn't a game they won't be favored to win the rest of the way. Great scheduling, by the way. New quarterback, first 2 games are A&M and Miami.
Yeah.
But I think the SEC starting next week is going to start beating up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have Notre Dame and you have 3-loss and 4-loss SEC teams and 3-loss and 4-loss Big Ten teams, because I think it's going to be the same thing there. I'm not even talking about the Big 12 because there's no reason to. I'm sorry. I think Notre Dame, they'll take Notre Dame over 3 and 4-loss SEC and Big Ten teams. So yeah. I'm not going to count them out yet, but I mean that they have some work to do. Jake's assessment, I felt like, was correct. I mean, defense could not get off the field, and I mean their offensive line was fine, but defense, man, and A&M has not been great on offense, and that quarterback's pretty good, fast wide receiver, but they had not been good on offense. So it's that Notre Dame has some work to do.
Yeah. All right. So, fans, when we get back in segment 2, we'll talk about the group of 5-6, and Tulane talk will definitely be in there. Be right back on the Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Keith Adams, and for years, I've witnessed the struggle student athletes face on how to truly balance the demands of academics and athletics. It's a question that I have dedicated my life to answering. That's why I wrote Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. It's more than just a book. It is my personal journey, and it is filled with hard-earned lessons from decades as a coach, educator, and now president of the CKA Safe Project. Inside, you will find practical advice, real-life stories, and a clear roadmap to help student athletes, coaches, and parents navigate the complex world of balancing sports and education. And now I am thrilled to bring this message to a wider audience as a proud member of the Cascade Sports Network. We're partnering to amplify these crucial conversations about student-athlete success. I believe every student-athlete deserves the opportunity to reach their full potential, both on and off the court and the field. You can purchase your copy directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. Join me and the Cascade Sports Network as we work together to help every student-athlete succeed. Welcome back to the Coaches Podcast. In segment 2, let's talk group of 5-6 in the American. One, can we slow down on USF? So in the preseason, we said you shouldn't be that bad. And then when they ranked them at 18, I said they're not that good. So can we slow down on there? And Tulane is the team to beat in the American. Kind of stayed on that. George, any thoughts on the Americans, sir?
I'm gonna get my Tulane shirt now. I mean, I mean, hey, listen, uh, Jacksonville State's gonna be tough. They'll be good, and the Raging Cajuns will will be good. But you know, Tulane do what they're supposed to do and what they should do. I'm impressed. They are building. When I talked about them, what 2 years ago and then last year, they're building a program down there. So they're getting some kids down there. So um, they're right up there with JMU. So it's going to be something to watch. I
Okay.
think Tulane's got a chance, a real good chance this year if they do what they're supposed to do to sneak into that 12. So we'll keep an eye. There's somebody to keep an eye on.
All right, Robert, anybody in American move your meter this week?
Uh, North Texas is 3-0 and beat the brakes off of Washington State.
Yep.
So they're at Army this week.
Cool.
Army's coming off a win over Kansas State.
Yeah.
That might be worth paying attention to.
All right. Strictly for entertainment purposes only. All right. Mountain West Pac 2. Go Lobos. And the Pac 2 took 2 whippings.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, did I miss anything with the Mountain West and the Pac 2?
No. And I think UNLV was off this week. So that's pretty much it.
George, any thoughts on the Mountain West Pac 2?
No, no noise to be made yet.
All right. And speaking of noise, great win. We're in the Sun Belt. Great win for ODU. Not this past summer, but last summer. Keith Jr. and I, Point Five, did a camp down there, and we were kind of impressed with everything but the T-shirt that they gave, and said they should be pretty good. And shout out to Southern Miss, new coaching staff, brought some folks in, got a nice win over App State. George, any thoughts on the Sun Belt this week?
No, when is that Old Dominion Louisville game? I mean that JMU Louisville game is
They already played, and
Wednesday.
JMU lost.
Yeah, see, so that hurt. That hurt right there because I actually thought they might get Louisville. So that's pretty much it with them. They're gonna fight it out. We're gonna see who's coming from that or that conference.
Robert, any Sun Belt talk for you this week?
Texas State took it on the chin at Arizona State, but I'd have been shocked if that result would have been any different.
Okay. All right, Conference USA. Shout out to the Blue Hens of Delaware getting their first FBS win over Connecticut. Wow. That's all I got. George, you got anything on Conference USA?
No, that hurt too. That hurt UConn, and I think the conference as a whole right there.
UConn and Notre Dame are the last of the independents. So
sit down and watch. See if Liberty comes back and wins that one. I think they did.
Liberty got beat by Bowling Green.
Well,
yeah, Liberty.
So it's not a conference game. It's not a conference game, but Liberty is clearly
not who they were.
Clearly not who they were. And New Mexico State went to Ruston, Louisiana, and Louisiana Tech, beat them like a bunch of rented mules. So
all right, Jim Ross. Good. Okay, a little MACtion. Well, nothing nationally impactful with the MAC this week. Robert, anything with the MAC this week for you?
No, I mean it's Ohio U did not they have nothing to be ashamed of. They played Ohio State fairly tough. Ohio State probably not paying a whole lot of attention to them. That's okay. That's about it though. I mean, that Bowling Green win, that's a good win for them in terms of, across conferences, but that's about it.
All right, George, any MACtion this week for you?
I'm always impressed with the MAC schools for a quarter. They fight big boys great for a quarter, and then the wheels kind of fall off. So
Mm.
it's interesting
Let's
because
just say I needed a couple of them to fight a little longer than they did, but that's strictly for entertainment purposes only. Finally, fans in segment two, HBCU and the MEAC, Howard, still on their stadium tour. Um, Teams are still collecting checks, but that's okay. You do what you have to do. Georgia's our athletic administrator. Any thoughts on HBCUs? Again, I thought some teams are still collecting checks, and Howard is touring NFL stadiums as they play mediocre competition.
you keep making money. I think the big one comes up was that next week. It's them in Hampton. Is that
Go with it.
yeah, that's the
I have
that
to
thing.
check the schedule.
I think that's next week. Is them in Hampton is the big one for the HBCUs around across. But North Carolina, until somebody can handle North Carolina Central, we gonna keep it moving because
All right.
they're running things.
Robert, did any swag stuff come across your timeline this weekend?
I nothing on my radar, man.
Oh, all right.
I did not even check Prairie View score, so I have no idea.
I don't think they won, and that's just history telling me that I don't think
Right.
they won. All right. So, fans, in segment three, we're going to preview week 4, give you our college football playoff without the spin. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CK Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. Here's our version of the CFP rankings. One, SEC, right now LSU would be the rep. So for week 3, I got LSU. Big 10, I got Ohio State. Big 12, I got Iowa State. ACC, I have Miami, and group of 6 is Tulane. It's going to be hard for me to get off of Tulane until they lose. So now that just leaves fans 7 through 12. That's all it leaves. So we got Penn State, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Illinois, and Oklahoma. That's 12 teams, okay? On the outside looking in from the SEC, it's Ole Miss and Alabama. Yeah, there's a whole lot of other teams playing, but ain't but 12 slots. So somebody going to be mad. From the Big Ten, the only team right now outside of who's already in would be Michigan, and they're going to choke it off. Big 12, Utah and Texas Tech. They have a shot at it. In the ACC, Florida State, Georgia Tech. And then in the group of 6, keep an eye on Navy because they're still undefeated, and UNLV is undefeated. Robert, I will start with you. Anybody you would leave out, put in? What are you thinking about with the playoff rankings as we head into week 4?
I mean, you have to at least have Texas A&M in the conversation, with the SEC. As I said, they're probably going to be 5-0, 6-0. Let me look here real quick. I can't remember. Their schedule is pretty favorable right now. Let's see. Coming up, they've got Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, at Arkansas. So they're probably going to be 7-0.
It'll
Yeah.
be,
Should be.
Yeah.
that Auburn game's going to be the only one that's worth its salt.
Yeah.
So,
But it's at Kyle Field.
okay.
Yeah. All true. All true.
So
We'll make the adjustment.
they've got the and they can't get caught looking forward, because this is going to be the big one for them. October 25th at LSU.
So,
That's going to be a big one. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, looking at the rest of their schedule, that they can make the playoff easy.
yeah, I thought I was thinking.
I'm more concerned about Texas making the playoff than them, truthfully.
Yeah.
They got to figure something out with Arch.
Yeah.
They got to figure something out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I mean,
something's going on.
Something is going on, because I mean, and again, I did not watch a ton of that game yesterday, but just easy throws. He's airmailing them, bouncing them at people's feet. I don't know.
Hey, Robert, I'm gonna throw you a curveball right here when we're talking about the SEC. It's Oklahoma. Oklahoma I don't think anybody expected them to be where they are with the quarterback that they got, but Oklahoma is taking care of business with whoever steps in front of them. So, and they're a tough out right now. They're for once. I think we've always been used to Oklahoma and really being soft. At least I was. I always saw them all those years they had where they were running through the Pac-12 and would get to the national championship game and they get whooped. They were a soft team to me, and this year they are not soft. They're hitting people in the mouth. So they're going to be interesting.
I will reserve judgment until after they play Texas.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So week four looks like to be a level up week where teams are playing better competition. George, looking at next week's schedule in terms of week 4, are there any games that catch your eye that you're like, hey man, I need to, keep an eye on that?
Well, before I go, I'll tell you this couple teams that we were talking about right now. Clemson's done, so you got to replace them with FSU. And FSU is looking like they're on fire. And then we got to see what happens with Georgia Tech, because that's nobody wants to sign up for that game. But next week, how bad is Miami going to beat Florida? How many interceptions? How many times is Florida going to shoot themselves in the foot? That Oregon State game is always a bloodbath. So I want to see how that's going to be worthwhile. Maryland steps up and gets some real competition. So we're going to see what they're made of. Even Wisconsin, they can't get Wisconsin. It's going to be the same old kind of thing with Maryland. Robert, that SMU TCU game should be worthwhile. Texas Tech and Utah is going to be should be a good one, and you got the good old Duke NC State rivalry game right there. So you got a couple nice little games to check out next week.
All right, Robert, any games catch your eye as we level up in competition next week?
Well, we're going to find out real quick about Indiana now.
Oh yeah.
Because Illinois at Indiana, that's going to be a big game. And
that's for both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah, because we'll get to you who's for real and who isn't. Yeah,
absolutely. And India. I mean, Illinois' schedule hasn't been great, but Indiana's schedule is bad.
Yeah, and they're getting on my nerves. So.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Arizona State is at Baylor. Ooh. So that is the big game there in Waco. And I agree with you on Texas Tech and Utah. That's that. I don't know if we need to go so far as to say that's an elimination game.
Big 12 doesn't have a lot of margin of error.
But with all the hype that Texas Tech has had, they really can't lose that game. SMU TCU battle for the Metroplex. That'll be a lot of fun.
Well, I got some random games. Arkansas is going to Memphis, and the American Conference doesn't have a lot more opportunities to have some impact victories. So keep an eye on Memphis and get well soon, Jerry Lawler. He just had a stroke last week for the third time to go along with his heart attack. Go ahead, Robert.
Auburn is at Oklahoma.
So yeah, we'll find out.
And we missed this one.
Oh,
Tulane at Ole Miss.
Yes.
Wow. I did miss that. Wow.
So there's some good games. There's some good games this weekend.
To keep on my random trend, North Carolina is traveling to UCF. So let's see if Belichick can win a Big 12 game. UNC only has one loss, right? That's it.
Yeah.
So maybe if they win, George, they'll be ranked. Maybe, possibly. You think?
You know, it's tough. Okay. They should be though with some of these other pretenders.
And last random game, BYU is going to Greenville, North Carolina, to take on East Carolina. Let's see what they. Come on, George. That's home, baby. That's home.
Let me tell you right now. I can see them going there to come and dying in the back swamps of Greenville. But at the same time, East Carolina ain't packing much. They play good at the crib, but if it was East Carolina team from a couple of years ago, I might be like, oh, let's get on. But
man, I thought you wanted to do a road trip. Let's go on down there to Greenville and get some good calorie laden.
I will always do a road trip to the Greenville, South Carolina. I'll be drilled North Carolina. Always.
All right. Thank you so much. So, on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.